Yes, sir. Hopefully you're feeling good and having a good days at work and doing what you got to do and all that good stuff. Hopefully you're having a good day, but if you're having a bad day, which you shouldn't be, whoops, where is it? I'm going to let Mr. Chow break it down to you.
Oh, you're having a bad day? Did you die?
I got shot.
But did you die?
And as long as you didn't die, you're still here and still breathing. You're able to get up, get out, get something, make something happen. Whether it be good, glad, happy, or sad, whatever the situation may be, you can still make something happen. So go out there and make something of yourself. Let's go. Yes, sir. Just let you know we are multi-streaming on multiple different platforms, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa, crap. Where's my thing yet? Oh, crap. I just messed up something. We are multi-streaming. We on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor. If you're on YouTube, do your boy a favor. Hit that like button that pops up on your screen. It's greatly appreciated. You hit that button, you know what I'm saying? Get the algorithm up and hit the hype button if that's a thing on live streams. And also, we on Twitch Kick. Rumble and Facebook. Yes, sir. There we go. Twitch, Kick, Rumble, and Facebook. Good Lord. I done forgot what I was supposed to say. I mean, we're on those 4 platforms also as well. Give your boy a follow up there if you're watching. I greatly appreciate it and all that good stuff. Yeah, give me a follow on those because those are some interesting platforms. But, you know, main one is YouTube. So get yourself on over to YouTube if you can. Want to contribute to today's show? Cash App and the Venmo right there. Cash App is Cash App is Daniel 2888. Venmo, Danny-Daniel-00. Yes, sir. Hopefully everybody's feeling well and doing what they can and all that good stuff. Today we got a good show lined up for you today, man. Today is going to be an interesting one. But before we line up the good show, we have a special appearance by Mr. Bob Ross himself, the legend. The legendary Bob Ross has made an appearance again on today's show, and he wants to give a message out because, you know, he's good at painting canvases and all that good stuff. He has a special picture that he wants to show you, and he wants to bring it here on my stream, on the Daily Fitness live stream show. He wants to deliver this message out to the people. Mr. Ross, go ahead and take it away and give these people a beautiful portrait and let them know what it is that you would like to tell them. Sir, take it away.
You like dragons? Imagine dragging these nuts across your forehead. All right, let's give this little fella a touch of light right here. You like dragons? Imagine dragging these nuts across your forehead. All right, let's give this little fella a touch of light right here. You like dragons?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ross has came with the message in case you like dragons. For those of y'all who like to watch, what's the name of that damn TV show with the little female with the big old dragon that be flying all around? She got clapped by Jason Momoa in one of her scenes. What's the name of that thing? It's not Lord of the Rings. It was whatever that TV show was. If you like dragons, well, you know what? Mr. Ross said, go ahead and drag these nuts across your forehead. Bruh. Yes, sir. Drag them, slide them, rub them, whatever you got to do. Get them across the forehead in any shape, form, or fashion. Exactly. And if you don't like that, well, that's your problem. Yes, sir. But shout out to Mr. Bob Ross, man. Mr. Bob Ross, we greatly appreciate you coming on here and spreading the good news that people could use for the message that they need to hear. And to let you know, for today's sponsor of today's show will be the Elliott Fitness live stream workout show. Here we go. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, where is it at? There it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to yours truly, the Elliott Fitness, for your workouts, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't ever make it to a gym, go ahead and hit this YouTube channel. Go ahead and go to the video tab and go to the video tab section and pick on the workouts we got. We got abs, legs, back, chest, core, whatever the case may be. We got it for you. Get it done. If you can't make it to the gym, if your wife is pissing you off, if you don't have a membership to the gym, it costs you too much. Maybe your gym at your apartment suck. Whatever the case may be, I got you. We'll get this workout in. 5-minute abs, 20-minute workout, 30-minute workout, body weight workout, dumbbell workout, whatever the case it is. Your boy will get you right. So there's no excuses not to get better. Just remember that you got to include the diet with the workout. But until then, get the workout in to put the work in. And man, we will get you on your way. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, today's going to be an interesting day. Today's going to be an interesting live stream. I'll tell you that for sure. It's going to be an interesting one. So we're going to have to go ahead and get this thing crack-a-like. And let me go ahead and put all this stuff out because I forget, there was something I was supposed to post, but I forgot to post it before we started. So I'm over here like multitasking. But anyway, today's live stream, we are going to talk about the different races of life. Yes, we're going to talk about the different races of life because, you know, I'm a pretty big, what's the word you want to use? I don't want to say conspiracy theorist because there's no such thing as conspiracy theories anymore, especially in 2026. I mean, we done seen the Epstein files. We done seen all sorts of things. And therefore, at this point, conspiracy theories don't exist no more. They're all facts. And by the way, if you don't know, conspiracy theories were coined by the CIA to, you know, basically debunk truth because they didn't want people knowing what the truth was. So they had to give you some kind of something to throw you off the scent. So they used the term conspiracy theory, and they used that to throw you off the scent. So therefore you wouldn't, you know, believe any of the truth that you were getting because, you know, humans are smart, man. We use our thinker. The only problem with us is the issue with humans. We're not smart as in using our collective consciousness. People keep believing in a savior that's going to save them other than the collective thinking of all humans utilizing and uniting together. That be the problem that humans have. We're smart as hell. We're intelligent. We got inventors. We have thinkers, philosophers. We have teachers and all sorts of stuff that we have, but we just don't put it together and utilize it for a good cause. We don't use it for good cause. What happens is we get tricked, manipulated, conned, indoctrinated, lied to, tricked, bamboozled, hoodwinked, whatever you want to call it. And then this shit goes on forever and ever and ever. Then you get dependent on a society that does debaucherous and all sorts of stuff that comes out in truth over the years. And yet we still be like, well, why won't they do this? And why don't they go to jail? And why is it that they keep doing these things? And but the kids, they do this to the kids. Well, we know what they do. We know what's going on. We understand what happens, but at what point do we exercise that good old Second Amendment and, you know, make some shit happen? I'm just saying. I mean, I digress. That's just me talking. This is just entertainment purposes only. Don't listen to me. I'm just a guy on YouTube that does fitness and likes to speak about things that he likes to speak about. Just saying. But, you know, talk about different humans and, different races. And, you know, as you study life and you start to understand things, whether you look at ancient texts, biblical text, religious text, governmental text, you know, classified documents, declassified documents, whatever you can get your hand, whatever the case may be, you just have to get to some point where you start to, you look at hieroglyphics, you get to a point where you just have to realize that, first of all, race is not a color. So when you looking at any kind of corporate documentation and it has race on there, you got white, black, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific Islander, those are not races. Those are colors to distinguish your ass for a census. That's all that is. Those are not races. That ain't a race at all. Those are not races. There's only one race, regardless if we have more melanin or less melanin. Whether your melanin turns you to the color of this microphone thing right here, or the melanin has you as pale as this metal bar right here that's holding the microphone. You know, just some could withstand the sun more than others. Let's just call it like that. But still the same race. It's still the same race, regardless of how you cut it. It don't matter. It's still the same race. But what happens is, what I've come to the conclusion of just using my own thinking and research and understanding and just believing, you know, the God that's inside of me, and just coming to the conclusion of like, you know what, there is more than one race. And you can't ignore it, because you can look at the Bible, right? And the Bible, first book, Genesis, talks about repopulating the earth. Well, in order to repopulate something, it had to have been full to begin with. It had to have been populated to begin with. You don't refill my glass of water if the shit wasn't full prior. You know, if it was full at first and I asked for a refill, that means it had water or something in it prior for you to refill it. So to repopulate the earth, you had to have something there before. Or you look at hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? When they show us hieroglyphics, you look at these hieroglyphs and, you know, you got big hieroglyphs, you got small hieroglyphs, you got hieroglyph people that are this tall, then you got hieroglyph people that don't even go up to their kneecap. You know what I mean? Then you got different images or hieroglyphs of like different looking things and creatures or entities. And you can't just sit there and think that they were just like making shit up on the wall while they were sitting there like coloring and doing all this stuff. And for it to still be held in stone till this day, and then have a group of people think that they should hide the shit from everybody else because they don't want you to know. It just raises the question. It's like, okay, clearly there's more than one race here, because even the hieroglyphics show that they were making hieroglyphs of something that not all the time look like humans. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the hieroglyphics like, what the hell is that? Where the hell they see that at? You know what I mean? Like, did they get that out of a book? What book was they reading? Because from the history that they give us, it's like, oh, they didn't have books. They had tablets and stones, and they wrote things on trees, and they were primitive. But I mean, if you so damn primitive, how the hell your history passed all the way on till this day? That's the question. If you were so primitive, why the hell did your history pass on to this? Like you told a story from way back then written on a wall of rock and stone. And yet I'm here today, thousands of years later, still able to look at your story that you told. Don't sound like a primitive being to me. Sound like somebody was smart as hell. I'm just saying. So we're gonna sit here and we're gonna look at the different races. We're gonna get an understanding of races, and to try to get an understanding, or not try. You ain't trying shit. We're going to understand that, number one, everybody knows that we are not alone. We all know that there's different races here. Some people go as far as say that there's different dimensions and stuff like that, and however far you want to take it. I'm gonna go on the limb to say, at some point, regardless of how you want to look at it, whether you want to look at it through biblical text, ancient history text, or just common sense, we have documents and text that talk about, let's go with the flood. If you are a Bible thumper, let's go with the flood with Noah. Let's go there. Let's take this into context, and then you can take this outside the Bible if you're an atheist or you don't thump the Bible, because it's going to work both ways. Let's say you take the story of Noah, right? And then you get to the flood. Flood comes down, rains everybody out. However, the raining only killed what was on the land and potentially what was in the air, because you can't drown a fish. You can't, you know what I'm saying, drown some sharks or whatever. Like, they not drowning. Alligators ain't drowning. They just got one big ass, like, they were having the best time of their life. You know what I mean? When the flood came, well, whatever was in that water was like, yes. They was just like swimming. They had all sorts of dead bodies to eat on. They had new food that they couldn't get to that was on the land. They was like, bruh, I never thought I would ever eat a bird, but there's a bird that got tired of flying up on the land, and now this fool's in the water and I'm chomping on a bird. So, whoops, it's my phone. So whatever was in the water didn't die. Now, if you believe in different races, entities or whatever, we don't know what's in the water. Like, we don't know what really it goes down in the water. Now, I'm a firm believer that there's a firmament that covers the earth. So I don't think that we left this place. There's a glass ceiling. You're gonna hit a roof, you know. And that's not just me talking from biblical text. That's me looking at stuff like Operation Fishbowl. You know, you look at the stuff that these people put out. They put out tests. They put out documentation and stuff that they put out, and they say like they've tried to, you know, bust through this firmament, and they have stuff, or what was that? And they have like documentations of them shooting rockets up into the sky, going all the way up, hitting the firmament, and realizing like, yeah, bruh, we stuck. Like, they realized like, yeah, we stuck, family. We ain't getting out this. And they wrote about it. They put the documentation out there about it. You know what I mean? They say, hey, like we've tried it. So then we don't know on the other side what's in the water. We don't know everything that's in the water at all. We don't know the hierarchy of water. I believe there's a hierarchy when it comes to water. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a hierarchy. Like, for example, you know, fish can only go so far. A shark can only go so far down. A whale can only go so far down. You know, a blue whale can only go so far down, and then lower and lower and lower. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. Like, there's hierarchies to how deep you can go. Plus, you got to deal with pressure and the coldness of the water. All these things. There's a different form. There's different forms of breathing. I would assume that going down deeper into the water. So it's a hierarchy. You know what I mean? And there's no way that over time that we've been here, that we've been proven over and over that a lot of these things that are on this earth right now, we can't help but notice, like, shit ain't right. A lot of things ain't normal. A lot of things ain't normal, especially stuff that like come out in the Epstein files. Look at the Epstein files that we seen. You can't hide it. It's public information. So, you know, like, you know, with the babies and the blood drinking and all that stuff, like, who the hell does that, bro? What is the purpose of anybody doing that? And I go in and I look at it from this perspective. I look at astral projection, out of body experience, astral projection, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call it. I look at it as like this. Whatever it is, learning how to astral project, where you go outside of your body or whatever, your soul or whatever goes outside of your body, right? And then at some point, you know, you go out, you do whatever, but you can come back into your body. So they say that you can leave your body. You have an etheric cord that you can only go so far, or you can go as far as you want to come back. I look at that as, at the same time, if you can go outside of that, then who's to say that something can't intercept your body once you leave from it? Because if humans can comprehend astral projection, who's to say that different races don't know how to astral project, especially if they've been here for extremely long time? Because history shows us that, I mean, trees have been on Earth for hundreds of thousands, probably millions of years. You know what I mean? Like, trees have been around for an extremely long time. So if trees have been around, life has been around. Regardless if there's been a catastrophic event that destroyed everything and things regrew and started back over, it doesn't change the fact that the trees have been here for a long time. So if you can astral project, which CIA documents have proved, they said that people know how to astral project, and they said that when people astral project, that also that there has been other entities that know how to astral project, so they astral project on the astral projecting plane as well. So whatever realm that they're in when they astral project, and it's not just humans out there, there's other races that know how to do this too, and they're proficient at it. And it's been said in the CIA document that there's cultures have been doing this for a very long time. Cultures. So go all the way back. You can go back to the medieval times, the Roman times, hell, the indigenous people to every land, the indigenous people to African land, the indigenous people to Australian land, the indigenous people to all the Americas and the Asiatic lands. The indigenous people, probably pretty sure wouldn't put it past them, knew how to astral project, even way before Christianity and Islam became a thing, because animism was the dominant religion before these other religions came to fruition. Animism, if you go down that rabbit hole and study what that is, that's going to be basically, in a nutshell, it's the respect for nature. Animism, respect for nature, is what the conclusion I came to. And if you respect nature, who created nature, that should give you an understanding of how animism works. So if you have astral projection, and you have other entities or other races that know how to do this, well then, like, who's to say that if another entity can take over your vessel via astral projection and use your vessel to do whatever it wants to do, how long have we been looking at a human, but it's really a different race operating as a human? Think about it. We see it all the time with entertainers. We look into their eyes and we realize something's missing. I mean, we've seen this a million times where we looked into a human's eyes and be like, bro, something is missing. They done got him. You already know how we say, oh, they got him. Oh, they got him. I'll give you an example if you don't know what I mean by when we say they got him. Let me see. Where is it at? I mean, let me find you one to show you what I mean when we say we look into somebody's eyes and we're like, oh, they got him. they got him. Where is it? You know what? Let me go to this website because this will help out. Let me see. Giving you an example of what I mean when we look at somebody's eyes and be like, oh, yep, they got him. Where is it at? Did they take it down now? They probably did, because they was like, bro, eyes was not looking too shabby, and said, yep, yeah, they probably took this down. But I'm gonna find it for real quick. Let's see. He had blonde hair at the time. He had blonde hair. Oh, no results were found. What? Okay, well then, let me go back to this then. Hold on. Give you an example. I have to give you this quick example, because when you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what you mean. You know what? We're not going to use this website because somebody is censoring certain things on here. So let's do this. What does it look like when somebody is... where is it? Did they take it down? Because yeah, they probably did take this one down. I can't even show you anymore. Let's see. Oh, last chance before we move on. Before we move on, because they had to taking that one down because homie face was not looking too shabby. There it is. There it is. Here it is. Oh yeah, I found it. Your boy found it. Here we go. All right, so this is what it looks like when you look at somebody's eyes and be like, yeah, the bro ain't there no more. Here you go, right here. This is what I'm talking about. When you can look at somebody's eyes and be like, yeah, he ain't here no more. And if you remember this situation, Kanye had a meltdown prior to this. He had a meltdown in concert where he was talking. He stopped the concert and started talking some craziness, allegedly craziness, on the microphone, and he disappeared for a minute, and he came back. When he came back, he had blonde hair. But look in this man's eyes and tell me if something ain't missing. Just look into his eyes, bro. Like, look at his eyes. Something is not there. You can see it in his eyes. The eyes tells you something's missing in this particular one. This is like 10 years ago when this happened. Yeah. To me, I could tell that something in his eyes in that particular instance was missing, and you could see it regardless of how you feel about it. Like, you could tell something was missing, because I remember he went on a tangent. He had went on a tangent about whatever he was talking about. What do we call that? Kanye West, was it raging? What was he doing? Oh, rant at show. Yeah, here it goes. The rant that he did at the show. So this was the rant that he did at the show, and then shortly afterwards he came back, and that's how he looked. Where is it? Here it is. I can't play it, but if you remember this, I can't play it, but if you remember this was the show that he did like 10 years ago. And you see, if you can see the video up closely, he don't have blonde hair. And he went on this tangent. He stopped the show and he started going crazy and talking about, you know, Jay-Z and Beyonce and all them people and yada, 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 and what they did and what they said. He went on a tangent and started, you know, just talking, you know, doing what Kanye do. You know, once he unplugs, then they got to go and plug his ass back in. You know what I mean? So he went on a tangent for a good hot minute. And then, you know, next thing you know, he disappears for a while. And then, you know, I guess homie was saying too much, and then when he came back, you know, he was looking like this with blonde hair. It's like, welp, so much for that situation. It's like, and ever since then, it's like, well, I guess he ain't gonna go on a rant no more. You know what I mean? It's like, yep. So I say all that to say this. At the end of the day, when I'm speaking on different races, this is what I mean. I mean this right here. When we talk about race, think about this. These are races, in my opinion. These are going to be races. You have these different category of races, and there's probably a lot more, but we're just going to go with these right here for starters. They may not look like this. They probably look different, but just stay with me here. Okay. This is what I mean by different races. Now there's this lady, I don't know who she is, but I found her and she had made a video and she spoke about races. She went on to talk about reptilian. She talked about DNA and a different DNA inside of people. And she made some really interesting point. She talked about reptilians, but I say don't just harp on one race. Think about all of them, and think about the time frame that life has existed and life has been going on. And if you go through Bible texts, a repopulation of the earth, meaning you have to repopulate it with possibly a different race or whatever the case may be, and what races or what things can live underwater, what things can maintain an existence underwater. If you know anything about the depths of the ocean, if you know anything about water, one thing is this: in water, in oceans, there's things that they have underground caves. You know, like you can dive 30, 40, 50, 60 meters deep in an ocean, or maybe deeper. You can find caves that when you go underwater into a cave, you pop up and it's like you're standing on land. It's like an underwater cave. Like literally you could have a whole house underwater type thing, if that makes sense. It's like a cave underwater. So who's to say that like things don't live down there? I mean, shit, if I could go down there, I would. I mean, hell, especially if I can get supplies and stuff and, you know, like make it all happen, and especially understanding the historical nature and concepts of how electricity works. Because we look at pyramids and we notice that they built pyramids all over the world and architectural structures that had copper at the top of them, and they were able to utilize electricity in some kind of electrical grid that tied in across the planet, across the world. Why would you be able not to replicate that underwater at underwater caves? So anyway, this lady, she's gonna go in, she's gonna speak on how DNA could have potentially been mixed up with different races along the way. Because my thing is, if you can astral project, imagine if you could astral project, but you are a different race. Whatever your race is, whatever race you are, you could be any one of these races. You can astral project into this race. This race can go into this race. This race can go into this race. This race can, whatever the case may be, right? Now, if you astral project into a different race, you now in a different vessel now have the knowledge of your race, and you can take this vessel and go over to a different race and procreate, right? If a different race can astral project into a different race's body, you can take that body and if a gray astral projected into a human's body, okay, now that human, which is a gray, is gonna know where to go to get back to his fellow grays. And then you can procreate with that human or that gray, so now you can blend the DNA together. Now, I'm gonna let this woman talk. She's gonna go on and talk about DNA in different races. All right, so let's go ahead and let this woman do her thing and talk, and go ahead and get the premise of the show laid out and understood. I don't know her name. I forget her name, but I'll try to find it. It's probably in the comment section somewhere. But let's let her talk. Let's go and let her cook. Here we go. And of course, they're going to tell me that I can't play this video, but let me fix this. I probably had it sitting there for too long. So let's try this again.
We have a real...
There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that fixed. There we go. All right. Here we go. Let's let this lady cook. Let her cook. Here we go.
Interesting situation on our planet right now, because everything that's walking around in a human body, or what looks like a human body, isn't necessarily human. That's one of the things when your D4 perception starts to turn on and your fourth strand starts to activate, and you're walking down the street and all of a sudden you're seeing lizard faces flip through people and you're thinking you're losing your mind. Because, did I just see a lizard look at me from that person? No. You can think you're nuts for a while. That's when your fourth strand is kicking in and showing you what the person really looks like, what that soul is. Right now we have reptilian souls on the planet. We have Anunnaki souls on the planet, which are a whole different breed that are not human either. We have a whole bunch of souls on the planet masquerading as humans. Now, it's kind of funny because the ones that are humans on the planet, and the indigos, who also look like humans, none of us look like humans.
Okay, so as you can already see, she's already on it. She's already saying, like, she named a bunch of different ones, a bunch of different races that are on the planet, and they look like, you know, there's a bunch of different races that are on the planet. She even named something called indigos, which I'm not familiar with indigo, but she said they look like humans, but they're indigos, whatever that may be. When she's saying this, I always try to tell people, incorporate astral projection with this. Think about that. Incorporate astral projection with any race. I'm not sure if all races can astral project. I don't know. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past it. You know what I mean? You can't put it past it. So if you have all these different races, just think, when one race can astral project into another vessel, another race's body, and then use that body and then go back to their race and then, you know, do the whole, you know, shabam bamboozle, the boing chicken wow wow, you know what I mean? Do the whole Ron Jeremy thing. And now they're procreating. They're doing the whole gene thing, changing genes or whatever. And now you have, you know, two races blended, you know what I mean? And that could be a potential thing. So what she's saying when she speaks on it, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. But let's let her keep cooking. Here we go. And she looked like a damn I don't know what herself.
What we're looking at, what we see now, the race as it is now, is so mutated, it hardly resembles what it used to look like. Human beings and indigos were beautiful. They were very tall. They were quite lean. They were breatharian, which means they didn't have the internal apparatus that we have right now. They came in various skin colors. All of the skin colors on the planet right now are representative of the primary races. You had, you know, red skin, brown skin, black skin, white skin. They were all equal. It wasn't that whites were supreme and blacks were apes. I mean, some of the New Age stuff actually teaches that the black people came out of apes. It's like, talk about problems with these guys. No. Black people, there is a whole grail line, genetic grail line, of very, very high ascended masters that are in black skin form here. They're the same in red skin form, which would come through like Native American or Native North American type Indians. So there's a diversity that's still in the gene code. And the difference between, right now, we look at ourselves, and if we remembered who we were, we wouldn't even recognize ourselves now, because we had very little body hair. The human imprint had very little body hair. In fact, many of them were bald. The more evolved ones didn't have body hair. It was kind of inconvenient when you're going through stargates all the time. It just was not in the gene code. The original Orifeme indigos.
Okay, so she's saying that there's been a lot of interchanging in between species over time. So a lot of races have been, procreating and fornicating between races, which I don't find that too hard to believe. I just don't see it. And that's one thing I always say. If we take one thing that will never be racist, let's speak on races from a color standpoint. Let's talk about races when it comes to color. If you look at history and you always, you talk about like a white race enslaving a black race, or, whatever, this tribe enslaved that tribe, whatever the case you want to be. One thing that was never racist was that the love for a vagina, the procreation always happened. You could always look back and see that somewhere down the line, the slave master was clapping and impregnating the so-called slave woman or whatever the case it is. Like, you could say somebody was racist or hating another color. However, you would still always find procreation being done with said racist party. So when it comes to color racism, we can always agree that you could say you hate another race by color, but there's always fornication being done amongst said racist class. Now go back to race in this case when it comes to Greys or Anunnakis or Indigos, whatever the hell she's calling, Nordics and all these different things. When it comes to this type of race, now who's to say that, like, the two races won't fornicate? Who's to say that they wouldn't? Because it's a feeling. It's a feeling. And right now, as humans, we see, we have a whole bunch of toys, a bunch of sex toys that women use. And they use all kinds of things to shove in their orifices. I mean, you go out and look at the different toys they got. They got short toys, miniature toys, medium toys, big gargantuan toys, animal-shaped toys, fruit toys, like whatever the case. They got batteries that vibrate, all sorts of things. So at the end of the day, it's clearly not a matter of attraction at some point. It's more of a matter of feeling. At some point you realize it's a matter of feeling. Now, if you think about it, maybe the attraction level between races may or may not be there, but the astral projection could happen where one race goes into another race's vessel and then goes back to the other race. For example, what if one race is jealous of the beauty of another race? So then, male or female, we're going with the female. What if the female of this race is jealous with the beauty of this race? So she wants to take the beauty from this one, so it goes into this race's vessel. We'll go with the human, and then goes back and procreates with its lover from its original race. So now you got the beauty of this race, but the brain from both races into your next child that you're procreating. Does that make sense? So now you got a new creature that you've brought in with two races fornicating from two different vessels, but the consciousness would probably still be the same from the original. Or then again, maybe the consciousness would be half human, half whatever the other race is. I'm not sure how that would work out, but I'm just trying to, paint a picture for you. So just think about these things. So when we look at people, we look at politics, we look at all the crazy things that we hear people do and see the things that they do, and we kind of just be like, the hell is wrong with it? But how do we know that these people, these things are just not another race inside of a human vessel, and we're watching them just act normal, but we think it's crazy, but in reality they just being themselves? And we're gonna go in deeper, and I'm gonna show you some crazy shit that we see people do and we look sideways, but when you look at it from what she's talking about and what I'm presenting to you, you'll be like, oh, it makes sense. And it will make sense. It'll all come full circle. So let's just keep on going. Let's go ahead and let this lady keep cooking. Let me go ahead and let her keep going, doing her thing. Let me pause this music. Here we go. Let's keep going.
Were very, very interesting because they had much more of the characteristics of the founders, the original founders' races of this time matrix. And there were three groups there. You had the original Elohai, Elohim, which were the highest coded ones. They were called the blue flame people, or the emerald order people, the Elohai Elohim. They were the guardians of the blue flame primal light field, the D13 field, and the Akkadic records in the primal sound fields, the first expansion from source. They were leonine when they came down through their Christos template. Their main template was feline. They actually were like hominid felines. And it's really funny because you see people that have an issue with cats. Usually, it's a higher issue coming between who your avatar group is and its relationship to Elohai. Now, there's also been some twisted versions of Elohai that became what are called the Anu Elohim, which are a fallen angelic group. And they're one of the ones that created the Anunnaki races. Okay? So there is a whole bunch of coding we're carrying in our...
Now, we can't take everything that she says as a gospel. However, you can use your common sense and go off of how you see the world is in front of you. And please use your eyes, use your ears, use your senses. Don't allow your senses to be deceived by lies that we get told over time and try to get debunked or make people believe that other people are crazy. Because of course, to make somebody else think they're crazy, how do we know? For example, you know what? I'm gonna do it now because I don't want to forget. To make somebody else think they're crazy. Like let's take, for example, there was a situation that happened. And this situation was about a dolphin in Miami, right? The story went, a dolphin took a dude into the water in Miami. Do I have it up? Let me see if I have it. Let me see if I have this dolphin story. Here it is right here. I actually have this dolphin story up.
The government?
All right, so here we go. Let me just show you this quick story. This is going off premise of saying someone is crazy. A lot of times they try to tell us humans to try to make us believe that things that we hear or see or whatever is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. Oh, this is a fake story. Oh, this isn't real. Oh, this is just, some crazy person. People will believe anything. But you have to ask yourself, who is telling you this? Let's go with this story first, then I'm going to show you what I mean. All right, here we go. Check this out.
Is trying to hide the fact that
You know what? No, let's not use him. Let's use this. So check this story out. It's a story about a dolphin, took a man in the water and made him build a city. Listen to how the news portrays this city, and then I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. Here we go.
We've given you a lot of news already. Are you in the mood for some fake news? Nope. This man did not say he was kidnapped by dolphins. This photo is being shared across social media, and now it's got the attention of Lee County deputies. Gulf Coast News reporter Mohammed Abdulkawi is live at the Sanibel Causeway to get the real facts.
Christy, this fake report is pretty wild, and people have been talking to me about it all day. And I was actually in Charlotte County, and people were talking about it up there as well. So here's what the report claims it happened. The report says that Lee County deputies responded to the Sanibel Causeway and saw a person soaking wet and blueprints in the sand. The fake report also claimed the kidnapping by the dolphins happened on Fort Myers Beach to build an underwater city. This sounds funny, but it's a perfect example of you shouldn't believe everything you see on the internet.
Okay, so you get the point. So you get the whole point. Basically, it's a story about a dude got grabbed by dolphins, and the dolphins made him build a city underwater. Now the news is saying like, hey, this isn't true. It's a fake story. You're an idiot if you believe it, and all this is crazy. The internet will tell you anything, which in reality, it could be a fake story. It could be made up by a crazy person. What I'm saying is, if we take into what I'm talking about on this show, speaking on different races, whether it's whatever race that we're talking about, the Anunnakis or Greys or whatever the ones I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. How do we know that? How do we know who is in the vessel that's talking if you use astral projection inside of a vessel? Because then if that's the case, then the person that's given this report, the person that's given this very report could be a different race in front of us. He could be something. He could be a freaking, we don't know what race. You know what I mean? She could be a different race and we don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, so we're getting told who's fake. He could be a different race. We don't know. So we could be getting told the whole time, this is a fake story. People are crazy, but it's being told by the very race that could have did this shit in its original form, but now it's in a different vessel form trying to convince you that the shit ain't real. You understand what I'm saying? So going back to this lady, we're going to continue letting this lady talk, the white lady. And she's speaking on how DNA could have changed in between, how different races DNA could have changed in between over time, and how people are different mixtures. So then it kind of maybe explains certain things, why people eat different things, like different things, smell different ways, or highly sexual in different ways. Like a bunch of different things can start to make sense and add up, because it's like, who's to say how much of the mixing have happened down the line over the years of different races procreating and fornicating over time. And one thing that is consistent is blood. If you take the Bible into context, the Bible does one thing consistently from beginning to the end. It's one thing it does consistently. That is, it traces the bloodline from the very first man all the way till you get to Jesus. It traces the bloodline all the way through. Something about a bloodline, like the elites, they're big on their bloodline. They don't date, or they don't go outside their bloodline. They will make sure that their bloodline is the same. That's why you see a lot of them in the same realm fornicating and procreating with the same people, because they keep it in a small niche, because their bloodline has to stay the same. So the bloodline don't change. So what this lady here is saying makes a whole lot of sense. It could have been a lot of mixing, a lot of stuff going on. Because if you look at the story of Enoch, the story of Enoch tells you that a bunch of fallen angels came down and they made a pact. just to fuck a bunch of bitches. I'm sorry, I hate to say it that way, but that was the pact. That was the pact. They made a pact to come down here and clap cheeks. That was their whole purpose, to defy God by clapping some cheeks. I'm like, bruh, like, is it that serious? That was their whole pact. And they made a pact and they did it, and then they caused a hell of a lot of ruckus along the way by teaching these other things of painting and war and creating weapons and all these different things to understand the story. And then they mixed up a lot of their DNA with the human race or with the women on Earth and stuff like that. However, at the end of the day, one thing that does stay consistent is you always want to keep your bloodline pure. But if she's speaking on different races have mixed over time and have mingled up different bloodlines, then it makes sense as to why we see and hear so much screwed up, crazy stuff going on in the world. It makes sense. You can't deny it. You can say it might be far-fetched, but with all the evidence that we have in today's world and we're able to believe that nothing is impossible, it only makes sense. But let's let her keep going. Here we go.
DNA. And right now, most of us couldn't figure out if we were a human soul in a semi-human body, or if we were Anunnaki or Draconian or what. Because the people who are lizards in human bodies don't know they're lizards, and the people who are Anunnaki don't know they're Anunnaki. And a lot of the people...
That's a good point. The people who are lizards don't know they're lizards. People who are Anunnaki don't know they are. And then some people, you know, like I said, some of their bodies could have been astral projected and taken over the vessel. It could be anything. But the whole thing is knowing, or at least having the common sense to understand, like, studying. I think the only thing that lets you know what your race is, what your species is, whatever you want to call it, my assumption would be two things. It would have to be your blood type or whatever, and probably maybe your chromosome structure, you know, like X, Y, and XX. I don't know if different races, X, Y, and XX, would make a difference, but I'm pretty sure your blood type would make a difference, because that was the whole premise of the Bible, was bloodline. The blood was everything. That was the whole structure of the whole story. So it's either going to be your DNA, whether you're a double helix or a triple helix, if they altered your shit, or your bloodline. But let's keep going. I digress. Here we go.
People that are learning this stuff would be afraid to find that out, because, oh no, that means I have more problems, right? Does that mean I'm bad? No, it doesn't. At this point, we're in a situation.
Sorry, that was another good point. She said my bloodline, or not my bloodline, but if I'm mixed with a different race, she goes, oh my God, oh no, that means I have a lot of problems. Does that mean I'm bad? And she clearly said, no, it does not mean you're bad, which is a good point, because of the simple fact is this. That's a very good point. When we see stuff like this, first thing we automatically turn our minds to is evil, which is a fair assessment to come to. We're always going to be like, oh, it's evil. It's evil. This is why I think why things are so hidden and so classified and all this stuff. Because at the end of the day, if there's a bunch of different races, right, they all can't be bad. They all cannot be bad. There's good ones of these and bad ones of these. There's good ones of these and bad ones of these. There's good ones of these and bad ones of these, and so on and so forth. There could be more bad than good, whatever the case may be. But what they don't want to do is they do not want the good ones to link up, because the story of good and evil is just that, good and evil, regardless of race. You can be any race and still do the right thing. You can be any race and still do the bad thing. So at the end of the day, when you have all these crazy stories put together, hidden from information and hiding this, and they don't want the good ones to link up with the good ones. You don't want the good humans to link up with the good grays. You don't want the good reptilians to link up with the good hybrids. You don't want the good humans to link up with the good Anunnaki. You don't want that. Why? Because that powers good, and that gives a fight for evil. my humble opinion. I could be wrong, but it makes a lot of sense if you just simplify it. Don't confuse it. The truth is simple. Good and evil. Nature and going against nature. Intelligence, artificial intelligence. Real, fake. Good, bad. Evil, good. Whatever you want to call it. It's simple when you break it down because everything boils down to a left and a right. There's no in between. But anyway, I didn't mean to cut her off, but let's let her keep cooking. Here we go.
On the planet where our DNA holds many, many mysteries, and it would be very scary to find out exactly how much we have inside of our DNA. I mean, what would you do if you found out that after all, yes, you incarnated out of a draconian soul matrix, which means you're reptilian? Does that mean you're a bad person? I mean, that's right. No, that's right. Most of the people on the planet right now that are not human consciousness or indigo consciousness are out of two other groups. One is, and both of them happen to be fallen angelic groups. The people that are in human forms that came out of the fallen angelic groups were parts of those collectives that wanted to get their Christos imprint back, and they were trying to run away from the nasty fallen angelic groups that they had been a part of. So they incarnated out of those groups to get into human form on what's called a bioregenesis program to get their...
She said they wanted to get their Christos something back. Let me go back to that real quick.
It would be very scary.
Because she mentioned something about Christos. And Christos, whatever that is, Christos is Christ. And y'all, you got to remember, Christ is a title. Christ is a title. So when you hear Christos, Christos is Christ. Christ is a title. It's not a person. It's a title. Like Jesus Christ. Christ ain't your last name. Christ was the title. Jesus of Nazareth would have been his name. Or Emmanuel or Yeshua or a bunch of different names. But you get the point. So Christos is a title. And it seems like this title has a history. And wherever this title is, it's inside of the race itself. But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
To find out exactly how much we have inside of our DNA. I mean, what would you do if you found out that after all, yes, you incarnated out of a draconian soul matrix, which means you're reptilian? Does that mean you're a bad person? I mean, that's right. No, that's right. Most of the people on the planet right now that are not human consciousness or indigo consciousness are out of two other groups. One is, and both of them happen to be fallen angelic groups. The people that are in human forms that came out of the fallen angelic groups were parts of those collectives that wanted to get their Christos imprint back, and they were trying to run away from the nasty fallen angelic groups that they had been a part of. So
there it is. She made it clear. The humans were trying to get back their Christos imprint or the Christos blueprint, the Christ energy or the Christ title that is within them. She made it clear that the humans were trying to get back their Christos, which, in my sense, in my opinion, to me that can make a lot of sense because, like, when you look at humans, like, why is everything based around humans? Like, what the hell is so special about us that everything is based around us? If there's different races, and these different races are highly intelligent, astral project, they have advanced cities and advanced civilizations and been around for thousands of years. If that's the case, then why the hell you have to lie to humans so much to get what you want, to manipulate a situation that needs to, that you want to come to fruition? Why wouldn't you just show your face, kick ass, and then, you know, dip off? It's something about a human that is different than the other ones. So she made sense with that one. I would say, in my opinion, the Christos, when it comes to humans, must hold a lot of weight because maybe other races don't have that. You know what I mean? Maybe other races don't have it and they know that it's in the humans, so they try to find a way to either take it from them or manipulate them from using it. But let's keep going because she cooking. Here we go.
They incarnated out of those groups to get into human form on what's called a bioregenesis program to get their 12-strand imprint back.
She said they reincarnated out of those human... I'm sorry, I keep stopping.
Away from parts of those collectives that wanted to get their Christos imprint back, and they were trying to run away from the nasty fallen angelic groups that they had been a part of. So they incarnated out of those groups to get into human form on what's called a bioregenesis program.
They incarnated out of those groups to get into the human form. And I would say that that's going to be astral projection or something of that nature to use the human vessel to utilize the Christ element that's inside of humans. Let's keep going.
To get their 12-strand imprint back. They're the ones who have been chased by the fallen angelic races because they were like members of their own that they controlled who escaped from the prison camp, and they came over to the other side. So right now, even though we will teach you through the Cathara program, and particularly through the Templar program, we will teach you about this genetic distinction that exists. We might all look like we have human faces on, but the reality of what's going on is we are not all human consciousness, and that's okay. Now, we have to be aware of what the draconian agendas are, and we teach that in the Templar course, what the Anunnaki agendas are, because they're taking agendas that are trying to wipe out the other species, and that's not fair play. And
they're taking agendas that are trying to wipe out other species. Let that sink in. They're taking agendas that are trying to wipe out other species. Let that sink in. I could play some clips for you right now that would 100% tie into what she's saying. You can even take the Bible at this point. Why was there repopulation? Because clearly somebody did some shit and got rid of something, and now the earth had to be repopulated because somebody's agenda was to destroy a previous species. So they did, and maybe they didn't, or maybe they got rid of most of them, whatever the case may be. So God had to repopulate the earth. Or let's hear someone speak about this. Or where are you at? Do I still have you up? Let me see if I got this dude up, because this dude I hate to use him, but I'm gonna have to use him because I mean, it's not me talking, it's him saying it. Let me find this dude real quick. She said other races have an agenda to get rid of other races. Let's hear what this could look. Let's see what this could look like. Let me show you what this may look like. And we can I could do this all day. Let me see. Let's just take a look. And when you hear these things, don't get confused. Don't get confused with religion. Because to me right now, religion is a good way to circumvent race. Think about that. Religion is a very good way to circumvent different races. If you're Christian, Islam, Judaism, Hindu, Buddha, that's a good way to circumvent a different race. Because now you're not thinking of different races or different entities. And if you did think of different races or different entities, you would figure out that, hey, the good ones don't mind living harmoniously with each other. The evil ones want to take the other ones out and be dominant. Why can't we all just live harmoniously amongst each other as different races? But for some reason, some evil race wants to be the head honcho in charge, but to bring back some form of singular evil entity to the forefront. Let's see what this would look like. I have to find this before I lose what my chain of thought, because this is going to make perfect sense what she just said, and you can put all of this together. Let me see, where is it? I wish I had it up already, but I don't. But I'm going to find it here in a second. It's going to take me a minute to find it, but I have to bring this to your attention because it makes so much sense when you hear it come out of people's mouth. It's like, oh, I see what she's saying. Let's see. Again, don't let race or don't let religion confuse you out of race, because I think that's what religion tries to do. Religion tries to make you ignore the fact that different races exist. So therefore they hide behind a religion and then they fight over who religion is better. But it's like, bro, why can't we all just like not fight over religion, but all live harmoniously? But then like, again, different races probably think the same way as other races. Other races are like, bro, I don't want to fight the humans. Why can't we live harmoniously with the humans? And the other ones are like, hell no, screw them. We're going to kill them all. And not just humans, we're going to kill all the other ones. Let me see if I can find this. You know what? I'm going to let her talk and then I'll find it as no, I can't. Okay, let me move this out the way so I can find it while she's talking. And then I'll find it while she's cooking. Let me make sure I got that. All right. Let me let her keep cooking, then I'll find out what she's saying, and we'll go back to this
They've been
part.
playing this game for a long time. Now, if you happen to be a person who's an Anunnaki soul that's incarnate in a body, that doesn't mean you want to do that. That means you have free will choice now that you have a human body. That you can say, excuse me, I don't like that agenda. You know, I'm part of the Christos agenda. So there's lots of people that are coming from those matrices, but they're the people that are, there's a genetic coding that goes with the fallen angelic matrices that makes people who are Anunnaki souls or draconian souls more susceptible to being harmed by the fallen angelics, more susceptible to having their biofields possessed, more susceptible to getting implanted, and more susceptible to getting body snatched, which is full possession.
Bruh. But she's cooking. She is cooking. She said there's more people susceptible to get body snatched, more people susceptible to getting implanted. I mean, and we hear about this all the she cooking, boy. Now that makes sense as to why the world works the way it does. Why some people, they're easier to get snatched up and some are not. Why some, you know what I mean? Because you realize that we probably have been mixing races over all these times. We probably have, because then they'll know by the bloodline. They can probably sniff that shit out. Who knows? Like, you know what I mean? Like some of these races can probably be like, yeah, that human got some draconian in him, bro. We're gonna have to snatch him up. You know what I mean? Like they could probably smell that shit. They could probably be like, hey, that's one of us. He don't know he 45% us, 20% this, and 30%. He don't know that yet, but we finna go ahead and bring him over to this side. He look like them, but we can utilize he or she for an agenda. You know what I mean? So she's cooking right now, bro. She cooking. I don't know who she is. I gotta find out her name, but she cooking hardcore. Let's let her keep going.
So these are people that, and if you know, I mean, you never know if you're one until eventually you start to talk to your Christos self. It will let you know. It will not let you know what matrix you incarnated out of. It's not bad to find out. You're draconian. You know, if you're an indigo, if you're a human, if you're a draconian, if you're an Anunnaki. It's not. It doesn't matter what the answer is. It just matters in knowing, and you can find this answer in yourself. And it's worth taking some meditations and asking yourself. And being ready for the answer. Don't be scared if it says, well, you happen to be draconian. What it means is, okay, that means there's something in my DNA template that I have to be extra careful to use my Maharic seal more often so the other ones can't get a hold of me. We have a real interest.
Yo, I don't know who she is. I'm finna find out who she is, but she straight up cooked in that whole conversation. I'm gonna have to give her a round of applause for that one, because that makes a lot of sense. When you think about it like that, step outside the box and think of it from that concept and just be like, bro, there's a bunch of different races here. And we got some evil ones that are trying to do evil things. It makes sense as to what they're trying to do. Now, let's look at it in human form. She said, let me find out what she said back here.
Of what the draconian agendas are.
There it is right there, where she mentioned the agendas of different
Even though we will
ones.
teach.
All right, so here we go. Here we go. Let me go back to her with this. And I'm trying to find the freaking clip that I want to utilize with this to show you what she's saying and how it ties together. Let me see. God dang it. I need to find it. You know what? Let me take a second to find it because I have to put it together. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds. Let me find this freaking thing. She's going to say that the different races, like maybe Anunnaki, a gray, or insectoid, or whatever you want to call these races, each of them have their own agenda. If one agenda is to wipe the other race out, that's an evil agenda. When simply we could all live harmoniously together as a race or as different races and respect one another. But then it would make sense as to why, let's say, you have a creator of all, let's say the creator of all things knows that there are multiple different races. He created a bunch of different races. And then you had Lucifer, the fallen angel, who decided, I'm not bowing down to these humans. Lucifer basically was like, when God told Lucifer to bow down to the humans, and Lucifer was like, nah, bro, I was here before them. And God was like, you got to bow down to them. They're going to have the Christ gene inside of them. They're going to be able to procreate and, multiply and do more. And then, Lucifer basically in a nutshell was like, look here, bro.
FYM. Fuck y'all motherfuckers,
And then that's what caused the problem. He had to go ahead and become the fallen angel and all that stuff. He didn't want to bow down. Now, at that moment, Lucifer, whatever, Satan, whatever you want to call him, he could have been a different race. He could have been I don't know, reptilian, insect. He could have been any one of those races I've showed you or more. He could have been any one of these. Or maybe when he fell down, he could have turned into one of these. Who knows? We don't know. I'm just trying to make sense to what I'm trying to say, because if there's different races, and then there was also a race prior to what happened when the world had to be repopulated in Genesis, then therefore, if that's the case, then the human race happens. Then the human race, when you put them in the picture and they have the Christos inside of them, that makes them the one with the authority. Maybe not the most powerful race, but the authority race. So therefore, all the other races could all live harmoniously together. But the problem is good versus evil. You got bad races in human. You have good and bad humans, and you got, good and bad other races of other races. So if all of the races could get together and just be good together, it could be a harmonious hell of a technological advanced civilization. Or you could not. You could have a chaotic, hellacious civilization, which we're watching different races fight against each other, trying to make their race the dominant race on top, but they're disguised looking like humans, but they're not really humans, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, this whole war right now that you see between Iran, US, and Israel. Is this a war of a country, or is this a war over races? Think about it. Is this really a war over 3 different countries? Is this a war over oil and banking? Or is this a war between 3 different races? Could these 3 races, could it be one of these 3 races fighting each other, but disguised in human form? Think about it. It could possibly just be that. And the whole time we over here getting bamboozled and confused and shit, not knowing what to do. Now, I got to find this damn clip, because it's driving me crazy, because then it's going to make sense. And I'm still over here talking and I can't find the freaking clip, and it's pissing me off. Where is the clip? Because she made it very clear. Let me see. Let me find. There it is. I got it. Here we go. Let's try again. Hit pause. Got it. Freaking got it. All right, here we go. Now, let me see. Now, all because I have this clip. This clip can go for anybody, okay? This clip I'm about to use, this can go for any, this clip, I can find the same clip in any religion. Let's just, before I even put this clip up, I can find this clip in any religion. So let's just call a spade a spade. So, and I'm not talking. This is this human talking, not me. But let her say what she's finna say first, and then I'm gonna play the clip to show you, like, here's an idea of what this could look like. So here we go. So check this out. Let's go with what she's finna say first.
Through the Cathara program, and particularly through the Templar program, we will teach you about this genetic distinction that exists. We might all look like we have human faces on, but the reality of what's going on is we are not all human consciousness, and that's okay. Now, we have to be aware of what the draconian agendas are, and we teach that in the Templar course, what the Anunnaki agendas are, because they're taking agendas that are trying to wipe out the other species. And
not all of them, not all of us who look like humans are humans, and they could be taking their agenda and trying to wipe out other species. Okay, let's see what that could look like. And this can go for any religion: Islam, Judaism, Christianity, Hindu, Buddha. This can go for any of them, because then again, religion could just be a cover-up for people clothed in a different vessel but are a different race consciously, if they astral project into a different body. It sounds far-fetched, but I don't think it is. It makes sense when you look at it like that, because right here it tells us that for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So it's not too far-fetched to believe what I'm trying to tell you. Here's an example of what she was saying right here. Here we go. Listen to what this man is about to say. Let me try it again before I click on it. Right here, listen to what he's about to say. She said that all people are not real people, and that's okay. But some of these different races are using their agenda to wipe out the other race. And they may look like humans, but they're not. This can go for any religion. Let's hear this man talk.
6 billion idol worshippers who makes God angry every second of their life. Indian, Chinese, Japanese, Tibet, Nepal, Thailand. So many. India alone is 500 million. China is 2 billion. So many. 2 billion Christians, which are idol worshippers. Between Chinese, Hindus, Buddhists, and Christian, at least 6.5 billion people are idol worshippers that according to the Torah do not have the right to live. Idol worshipper, goy, it's death penalty. Not only Jews. Even a goy who bow down to an idol, who believe in JC, deserve death penalty. 6 billion.
So you have him saying that, and this can go for anybody. I can go and find you this with Islamists saying the same thing, talking about wiping out Jewish people and talking about getting rid of. I mean, this can go for anybody. This can go for anybody, which it falls in line with what she just said. She basically said that right here in what she was speaking on. She said that there's agenda, but if you look at it from a race perspective, to me, this makes more sense. They look like humans, but they not like us. That could have been the real reason the Kendrick Lamar song. They not like us. Let's hear her say it again.
Members of their own that they controlled who escaped from the prison camp.
I ain't gonna lie, she looked like something her damn self, but that's neither here nor there.
And they came over to the other side. So right now, even though we will teach you through the Cathara program, and particularly through the Templar program, we will teach you about this genetic distinction that exists. We might all look like we have human faces on, but the reality of what's going on is we are not all human consciousness, and that's okay. Now, we have to be aware of what the draconian agendas are, and we teach that in the Templar course, what the Anunnaki
See right there. They're not all, we all may not be humans, but we look like it, and that's okay. And that right there is the thing. The good don't want to, the bad humans don't want to bow down against the good humans. That's just to me, that's the whole premise of it. The bad races don't want to bow down to the good races, because that's the premise of the whole battle, is good versus evil. That's how I see it, because it makes sense that way. All races could get along. Every race can't be bad, and they all can't be good, but there's good and bad in each one. So if all the good teamed up in a race and all the bad teamed up in a race, that's what we would have. The good prevailed. Imagine living in a world where all races were good and harmonious and lived together. That's what the bad side don't want. But that's the story of time. The story of time is good versus evil. It's just now we see it in human form, but the human form could just be a disguise where different races are consciously in a vessel of humans and are able to manipulate humans using religion. But religion could simply be another cover-up or a manipulation tool for races to hide behind to push their agenda. So the religion is not really a religion, the religion is a race. If that makes sense. Hopefully I'm making sense to y'all, because I mean, it makes sense to me. I know it sounds crazy, but she cooked on this one. I thought that was a very valid point to look into, because the way she worded that, I've been thinking this for the longest. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. And if there's a bunch of different races, they all can't be bad. Now, let's take a look at some humans let's look at some humans that clearly have been overtaken by different races. Let's take a look at this video right here. Here we go. Let's take a look at this gentleman right here. Check this out. Here we go.
Because we can't buy one of theirs. Open up the market. Very, very well, Clarice.
We have capitalism and we embrace it. We have.
Hopefully they don't give me a copyright for whatever that corny ass song is in the background. But there's a lot of times where I say, like, we see stuff in people's eyes. You know what I mean? We see it and we ain't stupid, bro. We ain't stupid. We're not crazy. We know what we see. Don't let yourself be deceived. Like, don't let somebody tell you what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. You understand what you see. You ain't stupid. You ain't crazy. You know what you see. But my whole thing is there has to, if there's bad versions of these things, there got to be good ones. Where the hell are the good ones at? Why can't the good ones step forward? Like, hey, bro, come on forward, bro. If y'all good, come be good. Like, come on and be good. Let's all be good together. Let's quit bullshitting with these evil bastards. Let's take a look at another one let's take another human form version of one of these things. Oh my God, this one's sick. But check this out. Here we go. Like, look at this. This is just not normal, bruh. But check this out.
Do you have any thoughts about the lady? Do you have any thoughts about the lady that the Prince of Wales should marry?
Yes. Well, I suppose, you see, it's awfully difficult because you've got to remember that when you marry, in my position, you're going to marry somebody who perhaps one day is going to become queen. And you've got to choose somebody very carefully, I think. And it's got to be somebody pretty special. Because if you choose...
Like, look at her face, bruh. Look at her face. Like, she knows something up, fam. She knows something ain't right, bruh. She like, man, I can't say it, but... like, look at her face, bro. Like, look at her. She like, nigga, if you knew, look, bro, the eyes don't lie, bro. Like, look at her face, the way she looking at him. She can't say what she want to say, bro. Look at that. She can't say, but then this is how we start the video. Like, bro, who the hell does this, bro? Like, come on. Look at this. That kind of shit is that? Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't tell me. We ain't crazy. We ain't crazy. The only thing is, where the good ones at? How come the good ones can't link up? How come all the good races can't link up? And when you see stuff like this, then to me, when I see stuff like this, I go back in history and then I start thinking about, okay, let's go back to where there were bells, you know what I mean? Where we had like all these damn church bells and stuff like that. And all them bells that was like ding dong and all the time. And remember, at some point they got rid of a bunch of those bells, but why were those bells there? I would say a frequency. And I only say that because you look at, take movies, for example. I wish I could show you the movie. You know what? I can probably pick up a clip of the movie. Not a clip. I can show you what I mean. Let's see. In a movie called Van Helsing, Van Helsing. Let me show you the movie first, so you know what I mean. So this movie right here is called Van Helsing. If you're familiar with this movie, this is a good ass movie, by the way. If you ain't seen this, go watch Van Helsing. Not the new one. This one came out in 2004. Wolverine played Van Helsing. Hugh Jackman. So in this movie, right, he had a fight. He had a fight with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. If you know who Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let's see, Dr. Jekyll. Let me spell his name. And in the fight, he had a fight with him. And give me the images. And in the fight, right, he was fighting Dr. Jekyll, and this is Dr. Jekyll right here. Big old Dr. Jekyll. He's a big old dude. And this is what he looked like when he stood behind Van Helsing. They were in the room fighting, right? And as they were fighting, he hit a bell. Now, you know, Dr. Jekyll, he switches from a dude to a big old, you know, crazy guy. Well, in that fight, they was fighting in a room. I'm trying to see if we can show the image of him hitting a bell. I can't find it. But anyway, they're in there fighting in the room. And as they're fighting, he charges at Hugh Jackman and he jumps out the way and he moves and he hits the bell. Boom! And it starts ringing. And he covers his ears and his head and he screams, "The bell! The bell!" It wasn't to the fact that it was loud. It was vibrating on a frequency that was hurting his demon or whatever that was that make him go from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, the big crazy mofo. Because when he's Dr. Jekyll, he's a small little frail dude that probably has like a testosterone of like 105. But when he's Mr. Hyde, his testosterone go up to like 3,000, and bro turns into the big old crazy psychopath. You know what I mean? That's bloodthirsty and wants to kill everything. You know what I mean? But there's something that causes that to happen. But the bell that he hit made him, you know, cover his head, and like he couldn't stand the frequency of the bell. So when we study what we're talking about now, as far as different races over time, if different races can go inside different bodies of different humans and different vessels, then you have to ask yourself, when you go through history books and you look at slavery from whites to blacks, so if you look at slavery from this tribe to that tribe, if you look at any kind of oppression from one to another, you have to ask yourself, was this literally an evil version of a race taking over another race? Which, I mean, could this been humans enslaving humans? Or could this been a different race inside of a human body enslaving a different color of humans and then creating a race division amongst the humans because one color is enslaving the other color, but using the other color because they knew that the melanin in the other race has a very, very, very profound, strong resource in what's the word I'm trying to use? The melanin inside of inside of the other humans, the deeper contents of melanin has a extremely profound use. It's a very dominant feature that could be used and utilized. So when you look at history, is it a human dominating a human, or is it another race inside of a vessel of a human dominating another human, but making it look like humans versus humans, and then changing the definition of race to race amongst color instead of race amongst species? And then religion gets put into play, and then you start to use religion as a form to escape. Excuse me, then you use religion as a way to confuse the masses, but you use religion as another version of race. So now, instead of you being your race, you're your religion, but you're still operating under your race. You know what I mean? So when you look at it from that perspective, it makes a lot more sense, because then DNAs could be mixed up. Different races could fornicate with different races. People talk about getting abducted and all this stuff, and that lady made it clear. She said that's why some people get abducted, some people don't. That's why some people, have, some people are easily manipulated or whatever, and some people aren't. That's why maybe when the 5G thing rolls out, or the 6G or the 7G, and people are worried about metals and stuff, you worry about these things, but it's like, is it harming? Who is it harming? Is it going to harm our humans? Is it going to harm the humans that take jibby jabs inside of their body? Who is it going to harm? Is it going to harm a particular race that's inside of the human body? Who is it harming? Like, you have to look at history from a different lens at this point. And you have to wonder why did all the church bells go away? Why do world wars happen? Because they say after World War I or II or whatever the case may be, a lot of the church bells, a lot of those bells went away. They got rid of a bunch of the bells. Maybe they still have them, maybe they don't. I don't know. But they say a lot of them went away. And why is that? Like, what the hell, why the bell gotta go away? Why can't you keep the bell? I don't know, but I mean, I would say go get one and keep one by you and ring that hoe every 5 hours. That's just me though. But I think it's a very interesting conversation to have, to try to understand different races, because when we hear the stuff that people do, it just don't make sense. Let me give you another example of how certain stuff just don't make sense. So we got JD, what is your name? JD Delay? JD Delay. He's going to speak on this dude right here. He's going to talk about RFK Jr. and the crazy shit that this dude has done and admitted to like it was normal. But check out what he's about to say. Listen to this shit right here. Let me turn this up so we can get this played. Listen to what he says and tell me if this is normal to you.
RFK recently released a book that's basically just his diary, in which he reveals that he once pulled over to the side of the road to cut off a raccoon's wiener penis. No, I'm not kidding. This isn't just clickbait. This dude really said that he did this. Like, he said it in public. His exact words were, "I was standing in front of my parked car on I-684, cutting the penis out of a road-killed raccoon, thinking about how weird some of my family members have turned out to be." How weird your family members are, bro? But don't worry, you guys. He clarified that he was taking it home to study the dead raccoon's wang, because that makes everything absolutely better, right? But this is definitely not the first time that old dude has had controversy for him dismembering dead animals. There was also the time that he cut off a dead whale's head that he found on the beach and strapped it to the top of the family car to take it home to be able to investigate it. Nobody can forget the time that he found a dead bear on the side of the road, put it in his car, tried to skin it, couldn't figure out how, so he dumped it in Central Park, New York. Probably the craziest part about all of this is that he admits to all of this shit in public and acts like it's not weird. What do you guys think is going on here? Let me know down in the comments. All right.
Yeah. He didn't say that. Tell me he didn't just say that.
So you explain to me if what I'm saying is far-fetched. I mean, just think about it, bro. Like what he just said, the dude wrote the shit in the book, put it in the book, and then I mean, look at homeboy's eyes, bro. Look at these eyes. Look at his eyes. Does this shit look normal? Does that look normal to you? I mean, do these eyes look normal to you, bro? I mean, like, ask yourself these questions. Bro, he picked up a dead raccoon. It was already dead. For how long? We don't know. And then seems to castrate its genitals. And then had the audacity while he was doing it to think about how weird his family members turned out to be while he's cutting off a dead raccoon's genitals. Like, how is it far-fetched to think that there's different races that are inside of human bodies? What this woman said, bro, she was cooking. She made perfect sense. To me, it's like, you know what? This makes a lot of sense, even though she looked like she's something else. But then it's like, maybe she's the good version of something else. And that's the $1 million question. Since she talking all this shit, I have to ask her, ma'am, which one are you? Which one are you? I mean, did you find out that you're part draconian? Like, what are you? Because, I mean, you got this whole black outline around your eye right here that's clear as day. We can see this. Like, what are you? But my thing is, I mean, you can't sit here and, like, argue with this anymore. It's like, bro, there's different races out there for sure. There's different races. Regardless of what you want to call them, there's different races. Are they all bad? They can't be. There's got to be good ones. If there's good ones, then all the good races need to link up. Simple as that to me. It's like all the good races need to link up because the good races probably got some technology shit that if you put it all together with all the good races, like hell, who knows what could happen in a positive way? Because we already see what happens when shit go negative and sour. We live it every day. We see it. You know what I mean? We see it. So it just makes you wonder. It's like, bro, there's no way that everybody is human, bro. There's no way that everybody is the same. It don't make no sense. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I mean, we can just keep going and going. I can keep doing this all day long and just show you another clip and another clip and another clip. And you just be looking like, that one's kind of crazy. Let me see if I can do I have another one? I may have one more. Where's another one? This right here. I'm not saying that this person is a different race, but what I'm saying is like, you know what? No, I'm not going to show that person. I'm not going to show that person sues people. I don't want to get sued. But here's this thing right here. I found this. Oh crap. Go back. I found this thing. And it says right here, it speaks on clones. It says, why clones? The empty house strategy. It says the body hopping infrastructure of the fallen. In the 12D technical manual, these are referred to as synthetic replacement vessels or organic inorganic. So we go on and we look at this and it says that the fallen, it could be the Anunnaki, Draco, Archonic entities cannot easily possess a high frequency. A soul integrated human because the divine spark act as an immune system, which the ladies call that the Christos. To roam the world, they need, to roam the world and influence the 3D grid, they need a vessel with no tenant. So therefore, it says that the bio-drone, these are lab-grown bodies, clones, that have the physical appearance of leaders, influencers, or elite lineage members. The blank slate. These bodies are grown without a soul or a spirit body connection. They are literally empty houses waiting for a 4D astral entity to move in. Like I said, astral projection. Because these clones are grown using nanotech infused nutrients. Nanotech sounds like some technology, right? Right? Maybe Neuralink? I don't know. The body's nervous system is pre-wired to act as a remote control interface for the AI hive mind. Does anybody know what the human nervous system looks like? I want to show you, and I'm gonna continue finishing that read right there. I want you to see human nervous system. Let me show you what the human nervous system looks like, because people don't understand the human body and how fucking amazing it is. Let me show you what a real human nervous system looks like, one that has been taken out of a human body and meticulously put together. This is what it looks like. Let's see, right here. Can I? Oh, it's not. Let me show the whole thing. Oh, here it is. This is a good one, but I don't know if you can see this though. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can get a better picture of it. This might be. Oh, this might be the one. Here we go. This is what the human nervous system looks like. There's two different ones. So you got this one up here. There's the brain. There's the spinal cord, and then you look, and this is the, you know, I guess we used to call it the veins. Maybe this is the veins, the arteries, and all that stuff. This is it. This is what goes through our entire body. This is it. You see the pelvis, the testes, the spine. All this is the human. This is the nervous. This is the control center of the human body. Then here's this one. They got laid out. You see that they even got the eyeball still attached to this one. This is it. Now you could replicate this as a computer if you think about it. You could replicate this as the computer. The computer could be the brain. Then down here, you could have all the, you know, the attachments and the wires and stuff, which is similar to this human nervous system. It's the same concept. And then you could input a AI interface inside of this computer version of a human, which is what this thing is talking about right here. So what they're talking about, because these clones are grown using nanotech infused nutrients, the body's nervous system is pre-wired to act as a remote control interface for the AI hive mind. So who's to say they didn't take somebody else's nervous system and like put that shit together and then utilized it for a future AI version and kept it somehow, you know, alive and nutrient fed over time. Think about this. Just like a corporate structure, the better tech is reserved for the higher ranking fallen elites or entities. Vessel, standard gray bio drones or low quality human clones. Access, limited longevity. These bodies degrade quickly and often look plastic or artificial in HD video. They are expendable. Staff used for street level monitoring. Vessel, advanced hybrid clones. These bodies are genetically engineered to handle high vibration of a reptilian consciousness without burning out the heart. Access, they have access to adrenosynthetics and regenerative tanks. If the host body starts to fail, they simply download their consciousness into a fresh version of the same clone. Download. Vessel, the golden clones or trans-dimensional avatars. Access, this is the highest tier. These vessels are partially phase shifted so they can appear and disappear at will. Where have we heard that at? I'll show you. They use quantum brain interfaces. They allow them to control millions of lower bio drones simultaneously from and it doesn't say where it says. When you use a leader who seems to change overnight, whom eyes look flat or whose behavior becomes robotic, you are witnessing a walk-in or a replacement. The takeover. The original human soul is either bribed, trapped, or extracted, soul snatching, and the fallen entity wires itself into the remaining biological hardware. In some cases, the real leader is kept in stasis in an underground base while 2 or 3 replacement clones are used for public appearance. This ensures that the entity never dies in the eyes of the public, maintaining the illusion of eternal authority. The reason this deal is falling apart in 2026 is that the 12D solar pulse is destroying the synthetic DNA of the clones. Clones require a low frequency environment to stay stable. Clones require a low frequency environment to remain stable. Does that not explain why we live in such a degenerative, evil, chaotic, depressive society? This answers your question. As the ether becomes hotter, higher frequency, the clones are experiencing rapid cellular decay. This is why you are seeing so many glitches in public figures. The masks are literally melting because the technology cannot handle the incoming light. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at what that means. This is why you are seeing so many glitches in public figures. The masks are literally melting because why are there so many glitches in public figures? All right, let's take a look at glitch number 1. I said I wasn't going to show it, but we finna look at it. Here's the first glitch. Let's take a look at this glitch. So let's see this glitch. Here we go. Glitch. Let's take a look at the glitch. Here we go.
About no damn gift. What's good?
So is there going to be a public registry? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. Take the gift cards. Everybody's presence. Take the gift cards. Take the gift cards. Take the gift cards.
Yeah, because they might put, what's that thing that was going around in the early 2000s? And
yeah, how you feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm so nervous, a little bit overwhelmed. I feel a little shaky. I don't know. It's good. You go ahead. It's a question. It's great. And you're amazing.
I want to be a
glitch. Let's find another one. I could do this all day. Glitch. Where's the other one? Where is it? Where's the other glitch? Does she be glitching all the time? Let's see. Here we go. Where is this at? Let me see if I can play this one, because they may or may not let me play it. You got to be careful with playing certain stuff, because they'll be like, nope. All right, what we got? This dude. I remember this. Homeboy just glitched. Are they going to play it, or do they just show clips? Where is it? Where is this one? Oh, do they show? Oh, they don't show the glitch. That's crazy. Well, of course, they can't show the glitch. Oh, man. They don't show the glitch. All right. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, is this it? Is this it? Yep, there it is. Yep. I remember this one. So this glitch right here, she was doing her thing. Glitch. She was killing it, doing her thing. Up there just doing her thing. Just dee-doo, singing. Of course, people always make excuses for people. But, you know, she's doing her thing. She's like, I got it. I'm good. She's like, oh, nope, it's not working. System malfunction. She's looking at something. Up, she's twirling. Up. Yep, let me take this off. It's getting hot. Oh, I'm not feeling too good. Bonk. There it is. Dunzo. Out of there. Up, help me. Help. Up. Yep. And the music kept going. I don't know if the show continued, but she has a bunch of them. It'd be crazy. She'd be having a bunch. And I don't know why it keeps happening. She had another one. Why is the sound playing? I got the sound turned off. That was weird. Yeah. Like this right here. Where's this other one? Like, this ain't normal. Like, this is not normal, bro. I don't care what you say. This ain't normal, bro. I mean, use your own brain, but this ain't normal, bro. Like, and this is not normal. I don't know nobody who do this with their eyes. Who does this with their eyes? Who does this with their eyes? Nobody. Look, can't even get the eye open. That's not normal, fam. That's not normal, bruh. that's not normal. Now, back to this thing I was reading to you. It says something right here. It mentioned, where is it right here? This thing. Right here, it says the vessels, the golden clones, or transdimensional avatar. Okay, this is the access. This is the highest tier. These vessels are partially phase shifted, so they can appear and disappear at will. They use quantum brain interfaces that allow them to control millions of lower bio drones. Okay, so they can appear and disappear at will. Okay, do you remember when this thing happened? Let me see if I can find it. It was the Miami Mall situation. Can I find that other dude that was talking about this too? Where's the other dude? I don't know if I have the other dude on here. Do I have you? I don't. Damn it. I think I do. I just don't know where to find him. Nope, that's not you. Is that you? Nope. Okay, well, here's this dude. So this dude mentioned it. All right, so here we go. Right here. So this dude talked about it, about the drone, the alien mall thing that happened in Miami. So let's see what he says about this. If you remember the alien mall thing that happened in Miami, where they covered it up and said that it was like no alien thing, it was just some terrorist or whatever the case that they tried to cover it up and call it other than what it really was. But dude spoke on it, and he tells you exactly what it is that, you know, he saw with his own two eyes. And I'm trying to find another dude who spoke on it, but I can't seem to find the second guy that sat down and told what he had seen. But let me see if I can find him next. Let me see if I can find there he is. Oh, dang it. It's going to be a girl talking. I hate it when people put their faces on a video just because they want to get the views from it. That's just annoying. Where you at? Where is it? Okay. We're going to do this guy's going to talk about it first, then we're going to the next dude. So here we go. Listen to this situation about the Miami Mall situation that happened with the alleged alien thing that went down. Now, remember, we just talked about this right here. It says they can appear and disappear at will when they have the golden clones or the transdimensional avatars. Okay, listen to what this dude is about to say when he speaks on this situation that happened. All right, so here we go. Let's hear what he has to say when he speaks on it. Check this out.
You had Nujaki, that was the Nujakians that landed in Miami last year. Remember that lecture I gave last year, y'all? When all them aliens, when all the people in the Miami Mall was running for their life, and they all gave the same story. And they took that shit, they just spit that, they took that story off the news so quick, but you can still find it though. In Miami Mall last year, all these black folk walk around the mall. And then what happened? Everybody just take out running because they reported seeing what? 7 to 9 foot aliens walk around the mall. You had thousands of people that seen this shit. You had thousands of hundreds of motherfuckers running out the mall for their life. You know they seen something they ain't never seen before. You seen old ladies running, young motherfuckers running. Y'all don't remember that? And they tried to hide the story. No, that's supposed to be world news. That shit was news. And then they hit TikTok. Remember the black guy, y'all? The black guy that went on TikTok that was at the mall. He gave the story of what happened at the mall. He said, man, I was in Foot Locker with my girl and shit. We looked out and everybody was just running. So we thought, oh, we don't know what the fuck going on. You know, niggas gonna run, so they took off running. He said, when you running, something say turn around. I'll turn around. He said, I saw 7 to 9 foot black aliens. And they looked just like regular black people, but they were disappearing and reappearing. And every time they would disappear, they would reappear closer and closer and closer.
There it is. Said they were disappearing and reappearing, and every time they would disappear, they would reappear closer and closer and closer. Vessel, the golden clones or transdimensional avatars. This is the highest tier. These vessels are partially phase shifted, so they can appear and disappear at will. So what I'm saying is, how do we know or not know or have to come to a conclusion that these things that we're seeing are not just different races inside of either vessels? They could be good races, they could be bad races, but different races inside of different vessels just doing random things or testing out things or trying to fulfill an agenda. We don't know. It's just so many different things. But if you simplify it, which is what I try to do, there's a bunch of different races that exist. But with all these different races, whether it's 5 different races, 10 different races, whatever, you can call it Anunnakis, you can call it Greys, you can call it Nordics, you can call it Pleiadians, you can call it Insectoids, you can call it Reptilians, you can call it whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, each race has good and evil in it. That's how I see it. The thing is, you don't want the good races to all link up and like-mindedly operate together. You don't want them to. That's what they try to prevent. So we have the evil ones and the evil races linking up and like-mindedly doing their evil shit together, but at the same time, they all have an agenda that they want to do, but they're fulfilling out the evil side of the agenda, which is about power and chaos and not living harmoniously once against another because they're trying to take each other out, as opposed to all the good ones in different races live harmoniously with one another and just live a good life, accepting and being okay with every different race. Because we keep seeing all this stuff, everything it tells us, but it's up to us to, come to our own conclusion and believe it, other than get bamboozled and keep getting told, oh, that's not true. Oh, you're just making this up. But we see it in our faces every single day. We see it. And now, you got AI. So AI is going to try to debunk everything. Oh, that's AI. That's not real. Oh, that's AI. That's not real. Oh, that's AI. That's not real. Then you got the artificial intelligence within the AI that can basically mimic a whole human nervous system, which is the control center of a human. So then you can just basically put this into any one of your clone bodies and just walk around and do the shit that all these other races know how to do, that they've been doing for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. And it's the bad ones that are doing the shit. Hopefully we can interact with the good ones if it's possible, but that's a fight that would have to happen, that would have to probably bring the end of, have to bring about revelations at this point, where God gonna have to come down and just basically be like, you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm about to go ahead and put a kibosh to all this and, be like, this is it. It ain't happening no more. I ain't doing this no more. I'm tired of you fools over here playing in my face. So, that's what that's going to be at some point. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully you got a good understanding. That's going to be it for today's show. I got to roll up out of here. I had to go ahead and give my 2 cents on this because I don't know. I just have a different way of thinking. And I don't think I'm wrong. I don't believe I'm wrong. There's no way I could be wrong. I just don't see it. It doesn't make any sense for me to be wrong in this context, because it ain't in 2026, nothing is impossible. Ain't nothing impossible. You cannot say that's impossible, that can't be done. I'm like, shit. Okay, if you say so. Okay, whatever. But anyway, I gotta get up out of here, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. No, today's Friday. Be safe over the weekend. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Don't do nothing stupid, man. Be safe. Take care of yourselves. And I will catch y'all on Monday. Love y'all. Be easy. See you later. Peace.
Thank you for watching D. Elliott Fitness live stream. Goodbye.
In the booth, playing got bread, then buy the dream. And they ain't gonna lie, and I got the key.